everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We have a fantastic panel for you today. We'll be discussing the NBA Summer League and the business behind sports events and how to break into the business for a career. I'm your moderator, Isaiah Friedman, the SSBC VP of Communications. I've also worked with SLAM, the Syracuse team, and of course with the NBA Summer League. Joining us today is a very special guest, Albert Hall, the co-founder and VP of Business Operations for the NBA Summer League. He's also the president of Hall Pass and a former director of athlete marketing at Wasserman. Let's get to it. Al, welcome.
How you doing, buddy? Good to see you
Great,
again.
man. Cannot wait for this. So let's get right to it. When did you realize you wanted to work in the sports business for a living? And did you ever have another dream job? I just want to hear all about that start.
Well, truth is, when I was a kid, I played every sport possible. Was never that good at any of them. Good enough to compete at an early level and then through high school, but not good enough to go pro or anything. But probably when I was a kid, my brother and I used to receive Sports Illustrated in our stocking, and we would take that Sports Illustrated and cut it up into all these different collages that we would make. And I mean, for every sport possible, and it became kind of a little passion for our family. And then, I just figured every time as I was around sports my whole life, I was like, I got to figure out a way to make a living doing this. Yeah. And, I never really knew how, and then kind of hit me later on in life a little bit after college. I'm like, I can really figure out a way to do this.
Love that. And I did some little research. You were a dealer at a casino early on, so you were born ready for Vegas from the start.
Without a doubt. Out of college, we took this job. My buddy and I said, hey, let's go there and enjoy a couple months in the summer. And did a program where if you work 30 days, you get a bonus, whatever. Well, we thought we were going to be there like a couple months, and we were there 2 years, but worked my way into, the progression of the casino, which was actually a really well-run business, and started out and dealing with handing out change, believe it or not, was one of the toughest jobs ever. And then worked in the sports book there, and then found my way into dealer school, and it was great. It was, what it taught me how to deal with people even better from a personal interaction, a transactional type of setting, and tried to just apply that, and really kind of a theme of my career is parlay one thing into another.
That's so huge. I mean, it can help everyone. And I want to know, earlier in your career, a little after the sportsbook stuff, you were a desk staffer at the Seahawks practice facility. And the story says you were given a job to pick up George Karl's agent, who ended up being Warren. Let's hear that story.
Yeah. So it was actually the Sonics, but back in the 90s, the
my
Sonics.
bad.
I mean, so going back to Lake Tahoe where I was dealing cards, you're sitting there, and I kept seeing Seattle was just popping, and I grew up there, and the music scene, the grunge scene was happening, and the Sonics were just on fire, starting to really become a good team. I went up there and got an informational interview, and worked my way into, I was selling tickets at night. I had 3 other jobs during the day, and then parlayed that into, a job at the front desk of the Sonics practice facility. That was the first time anyone had really had a practice facility in the NBA. And it was the best job I ever had, because at the end of the day, I was the first guy that the players met, the agents met, the media met, the GMs met, everybody else. So, and the coaches, and became, as you said, George Karl's kind of right-hand guy, and did a number of projects with him over the years, including starting his foundation and AAU program.
That's awesome. You were like the gatekeeper over there.
Pretty much. Yeah.
You get this call from Warren, or you go to pick up Warren. I want to hear, how did you guys get along, and how did that lead to what would become the idea for the NBA Summer League?
Well, the reality was I did a number of jobs and pickups. That was one of the things. The airport was about 20 minutes away, and whether it was picking up a free agent, a potential draft pick, whatever. And one time, and George, we would talk daily on the coaching staff. And keep in mind, our coaching staff at that time was a pretty amazing group. We had not only George, the head coach, we had Dwayne Casey, we had Terry Stotts, we had Nate McMillan, we had Bobby White. Yeah, that was our staff, on top of Tim Gergerich, who was the legendary workout coach. Some great guys there to learn from. And, George is there one day and says, hey, why don't you run to the airport and pick up my agent, Warren Legary? So I said, okay, no problem. What I look for? And he said, just look for a guy, a surfer looking dude. That's what he told me. That was it, basically. And I knew he was coming in from San Francisco. So I did my homework, went down, I see this guy coming down the escalator with the Hawaiian shirt on from that flight. And I said, that has to be him. And sure enough, I mean, I remember it vividly, and say, hey, Warren, as he probably said to you, I say, hey, kid, all the
Yeah.
time, and I said, hey, Mr. Legary, how you doing? He goes, no, call me Warren. I said, okay, Warren, good. And so, it took him back to the facility, and Warren likes to do these tours of kind of with all his clients for about a week at a time. And that was his week with the Sonics. So that whole week, we just hit it off. And, he asked me how like to get a feel for the team and who I'm spending time with and what's the vibe of the coaching staff, and really just doing a homework. And we made a good connection. And I understood what he was doing is he was building his dossier on his client, and which was George Carl, and George was up for a negotiation for a new contract. And, so really doing his homework, and I understood that side of the business. And I had a unique role by then. I was kind of that liaison between the players and the business side. So, if you had a player appearance or there was a potential, promotion, whatever, using players, I would be that guy, right? So who would kind of facilitate that. And then Warren and I just stayed in touch over time. And when the time came to, for the next 15 years, whatever it was, I'd meet him in Los Angeles when I moved south, and we'd go to the Long Beach Summer League and sit and watch games. And
The pyramid.
yeah, and then in '04, when it became an opportunity to get Vegas started, he was, as I said, he was my first, or I was his first call. And I said, hey, if you let me do my thing, and let's do it. So I'm his business manager. He's my agent, right? So that's kind of how we work.
Lucky guy having Warren as your agent. He's lucky having you as business. It's perfect. And I want to know, you guys are really getting ready to start this thing. There are only like 6 teams. I heard that you're walking around in 100-degree desert passing out flyers because this had never happened before. Take me through that process.
Hey, we had to get people in the stands, try to make a buck. We were in the hole. We had rented the building. We're like, look, let's kind of similar to what TBT is doing right now. We'd put a flag in the ground. I live by that. It's like, if you believe in something and you believe in yourself, just put that flag in the ground and go attain it, go attack it. And the thing that I knew right away with Warren and I is we love to compete. We may not be within the 94 feet, but I mean, we'll compete at anything. And so we're like, look, let's get butts in the seats. I mean, Warren got to 6 teams, at that time. And we said, look, let's do this. And so, yeah, literally it's 112 degrees and I'm handing out flyers on Spring Mountain Road, trying to get people there. And, hey, we've come a long way, but that's a 100% true story.
Wow. Kids, you're trying to break into sports. That's the type of attitude you need to have. Al, what were some challenges when you were first starting the league, and how did you think you adapted from them?
A multitude of challenges, both business-wise, performance, operationally, partnerships. All of those all go into the equation of, hey, how do we get better and improve every year? And I mean, anybody who's worked for us has seen that. We have a motto that's like, your ego ain't your amigo, right?
Love
And
that.
at the end of the day, it's you do whatever it takes to grow the business. And if you can continue to grow it in ways that you can invest back into your staff, into yourself, into your property, the business will continue to take off. And fortunately for us, we had a good product. We had a very good product. So, we were able to really just jump in, and there we go. I got a better view now.
Nice.
Jump in and find out ways we could fine tune the event a little bit, whether it's selling more tickets, whether it's, growing the teams. We then went from 6 to 12 to 18 to 24 to 30. And so, we had a number of easy processes. I don't say easy, but things that worked out well. And then we had some that were, just a complete struggle. Sponsors and a variety of things. I walked into a hotel and got us a first hotel deal, just by saying, hey, I put a size 21 shoe in a box and handed the guy a proposal and said, we're just trying to get our foot in the door. And that's
Love
a true
that.
story. Yeah. So, I mean, we've done a variety of things that, over the years, it's you try some, that some are going to work, and others you're taking a flyer, you have no shot, but you fly by the seat of your pants. But, I think the one thing that we've always been able to do is be nimble, right? And be able to pivot. You're hearing that word a lot now with the, everything with COVID and business models changing. But if you are nimble, and be able to adapt and pivot, you're going to be stuck down that path. And sometimes it's a path of no resistance, right? And it's like, hey, clear sailing. Or other times it's the path of no return, and you're too far in and you can't get out. And that's why some people, like for example, with our sports business classroom product, I mean, people are already down that kind of career path and they're not happy. They're like, hey, can I do something different? And that's kind of, that's what we do, is we're always trying to pivot, be nimble, and be ahead of what's coming at us.
Yeah, you spoke about the sport business classroom, which that's people, they go to Summer League. Summer League's the main event, but people still need to know all the other initiatives you have there. You have the sport business classroom, sports science, the on-air classroom. Tell me about why it's so important to add these things, because Summer League could be enough, but you don't stop there.
No, Summer League's not enough. I mean, it's great, the basketball. The beauty of Summer League is it's unlike the All-Star game or other things, is you just have to get in the gym. If you're in the gym, you have an opportunity to network. You have an opportunity to work. I go back to when we met you, right? We're sitting there, Warren and I are getting ready to do a story for the New York Times.
Yeah.
He's interacting in our NBA fan combine, and we're like, hey, real good. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Warren's like, hey, I just promised the kid an internship. I'm like, you did what? And sure enough, it's like, hey, here's my card, follow up. But,
that was awesome. True story.
Yeah, but for us, it's like, there's all kinds of opportunity, and you never know where it's gonna lead. But, it just depends. Everybody is a little bit different. But for us, the SBC was a way for us to really bring more people into our environment at Summer League. And really, we can only have so many interns, but SBC, the Sports Business Classroom, it provided kind of that real life experience behind the scenes that people don't know. They watch Sports Center, they see the ticker at the bottom of the screen. It's like, oh, that's the real world. They read Hoops Hype, whatever it is. There's a whole nother world out there that, like, if you can get into that realm, and that's what we try to do, is bring you on the inside, whether it's, Woj coming to speak to you, or Neil O'Shea, or Coach Carlisle, or a business leader of some sort, or Sage Steele. It's like, look, what can we do to really get an inside? And then we've added the collective bargaining agreement, we've added scouting and analytics, we've added the social media and publicity side. And so now we're really trying to, again, pivot and adapt to what the future holds as far as opportunities in sports. And SBC is really a great opportunity to do that. We're doing it again this year virtually, so we won't have the opportunity to be on site and an immersive, but virtually we'll be able to bring a lot of people in, still have that practicum and insider knowledge, but also you can do it from the privacy of your home. So sports business, I have to do a plug. I have to. So
you have to.
Yeah. It's sportsbusinessclassroom.com, August 5th through the 10th. It's a virtual conference. You can log on. It's going to be an unbelievable experience, and we're going to do everything we can to give you that insider's perspective without being there. But again, sportsbusinessclassroom.com.
And guys,
tune into our web show. We have a web show pretty much every Thursday or Friday at sportsbusinessclassroom.com, or Hall Pass web shows. And our host, Bo Estes, does a great job. I mean, we've done everything from infectious control to social inequality to, the operational side of what goes into something like Orlando. I think we're going to hit on what the economics could be going forward, both with and without Orlando. So there's some really valuable topics that people can look and listen and really start to build a relationship with the people that are on the show.
Totally agree. And guys, the sport business classroom, kids who are in that, they're getting hired by teams. That happens. So that's another huge draw for it. Also,
one of your guys is talking here. He's not on mute, so I keep hearing him in the background.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I don't know.
The restaurant's towards the street. You see where the street was?
Oh, never mind. That's something else. That's my radio.
Oh, you're good. Yeah.
Actually, why don't we do this? I'll take a look right now, if you wouldn't mind. I'll show you what's going on at the basketball tournament.
I'm going to show you right now. There's some exclusive footage.
Clarification, that was first personal on Isaac Ross. He's third.
Wow. Safe, confined.
That's pretty cool.
His design.
His army behind me.
Game's going on.
Good block. Let's see a finish on the other end.
Yeah. Here we go. Corner three. It's good.
There you go.
Love
Syracuse
that.
faithful. Brandon Trish.
And Albert. This
You haven't had
economic
that happen.
impact. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, there you are. The economic impact from the summer league, I mean, still being analyzed, but it's millions of dollars. Like, it's very inspiring what you guys have built. I want to know, you personally, you're running summer league. You have like 50 different hats on. You're overseeing business operations, motivational speeches to the interns, putting on dinners and parties outside of the event. How do you personally balance everything when you're in the thick of it?
Yeah, compete. You know, it's the same thing. I try to be as organized as I can going in there. I mean, I prepare as much as I possibly can, but there's no replacement for experience. You know, you have to pivot. You have to work on the fly. You have to come up with solutions. A lot of people call me a solutionist, right? I get in there
Yeah.
and just figure out what it is that's needed. But the truth of the matter is, it's like there is no preparation for some things that take place, and other things now we have a routine. We have a great staff. I mean, as you've seen on the inside, I mean, between our
Yeah.
130 plus interns, our senior staff with Warren and Rhoda and Carla and Sergio and all these different people that really kind of stand. And the beauty is, what we teach everybody is, you don't know what you're good at yet. That's the reality. Is so you get there and try to experience as many things as you can, and then from there you understand, okay, I may be really good at broadcast, or I want to go that route, or I really like the operational side. I love the sponsorship side. The digital media and social is really cool. The partnerships is fun. So you really kind of stay in that lane. And when everybody's working in their respective lanes, we have the resources. Things tend to work real well. You take it, and then you think you have it all under control. The event is humming, and an earthquake hits, right? And then you're like, okay, what now? And again, I didn't plan for that. I had never been in one in that realm, and we pivoted, and we were able to come up with a solution. I was probably up for about 38 hours straight during that time. And but at the end of the day, we were determined that we're not going to be shut down. We'll do everything possible. So I mean, we flew in a structural engineer from Los Angeles. We brought in the plans from the city. We brought in the environmental impact people of what took place. I mean, we had everything taking place all through the night. So when we met again at 9 a.m. in the morning, we had a number of briefs prepared. We went in, we made our case on why it's safe and what we can do. And you know what? The NBA had to listen, and we were able to meet our goals and play ball that night. So there's a variety of things, and you just can't panic. You have to lead. I mean, right now in our country, we're really seeing a lack of leadership is really hurting our country. And I think what you have to do is you have to lead and inspire. And as you said, talk to the interns. If I know the interns are tired, they haven't been eating right, they went out the night before, whatever it is. I mean, you've seen it. I know when it's time to give a pep talk, or when it's time to bust some ass, or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
It's like, you have to be able to read know your personnel, KYP, right? So at the same time, I mean, there's no difference with that in business and management and leadership. And you try to take these little tidbits that you've learned over the years and apply them. And anybody who's seen, I have a very unique relationship with Warren, and Warren and I mean, we challenge each other. We'll call each other out.
It's healthy.
He's teaching me, I'm teaching him. There's no perfect day, but at the end of the day, we really enjoy what we're doing, and we love each other and our family of Summer League family. And it's like, let's get it done. That's the name of the game.
And everyone watching, this advice, it applies to any type of business. Doesn't have to be sports. I mean, Albert and the Summer League, they prepared for so many things, disasters. They didn't prepare for an earthquake. Albert tells you what they did. It's just being flexible and adapting, and you will be successful if you do that. What I
And
want
I think TBT has done a great job here. I mean, as we talk TBT, just to hit on that for a minute, what John Mugar and Jen Todd and Dan Friel and their whole team has done has been amazing. I mean, they've brought in all the experts from John Hopkins. They brought in an unbelievable testing company with Vault. They brought in, all the different scenarios that they've run on how to improve the bubble. The format for us really works because you're losing a team as you go each night. I mean, one of these teams, they won't go back to the hotel. They bring all their luggage down in bachelor or survivor style. You bring your stuff with you. If you win, you check back in the hotel. If you lose, you check into a different hotel and you're outside the bubble. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that we've learned between the temperature checks and the testing and all these different things. I mean, it's really valuable stuff. So, and you try to apply that to the next event and what it's going to look like going forward.
Yeah, I mean, what you guys have done with this, it is the first time basketball's back in the U.S. On TV, so that's great. I want to know as well, we've had some Q&A questions for this. We'll get to that section soon at the end. The people want to know what's going on with Summer League. Clearly, there's some, COVID, the NBA's coming back during that time. What can you reveal about Summer League for now and the future?
Not much. I mean, the reality is we're learning like everyone else. If there's a chance for a fall league after the NBA finals, look, we'll be ready to go. If they say, hey, we need you to run summer league at the end of October, we'll do it. Which that's always an opportunity or we're optimistic. Let's say that something could happen, but it's still so flexible. But you think about the incoming rookies, you think about the young guys that may not play much in Orlando. You think about the lack of player development that they're going to have during that lead up. I mean, typically during playoff runs, the player development that takes place with your younger players during the days is invaluable. I mean, they're spending 4 hours on the court or in the training room or weight room with their staff, and they may never play a minute in the playoffs. But that time and that preparation really pays off down the road. So without a summer league, you're going to lose that. I mean, the 8 teams that aren't going to Orlando, there's that whole element. I don't know about a second bubble, but I mean, those players need development as well. Yeah. So the beauty of the Summer League is it's not so much that, it's this sexy property that's on ESPN now. It's really, there's something there for everyone, whether you're, a player, a coach, a team, a front office, whatever, on the basketball side, not even counting the media and the business side. But you need those reps. You hear people, hey, we need those reps. Well, it's just like anything else. You at school, you're doing these SBC or these web shows right now with Syracuse. I mean, whoever's behind, whether running the scenes with the Zoom call, yourself asking the questions. I mean, you need reps because the next time you do it, it'll be that much easier.
Exactly. And I mean, it's just everything's crazy now. And what you're telling these people is valuable because it doesn't happen a lot, but it will happen eventually. And you have to be prepared.
You're going to find yourself in situation, whether it's a relationship, whether it's, dating, whether it's your first job, whether it's whatever it is, you're going to try to apply these little tidbits and pieces of knowledge that you learn and apply them to your life, and it'll make things better and it'll make you better.
I couldn't agree more. And I want to transition a bit to your role as the president of Hall Pass, which you created. It's a full-scale sports marketing agency. How did you come up with the idea behind it, and what steps did you take to execute it into the brand that it is today?
Good question. I mean, I started out, I was doing some college deals I had a company, CMA, Collegiate Marketing Alliance. And then I went to work at Wasserman, which I know you talked about, and it was like our athlete marketing. And, between running an event, dealing with players, it was just like, man, this is exhausting. I'm like, I'm learning everything here, but I'm doing it for someone else. And at the same time, I'm like, I want to do something for myself, try to build it. And again, I go back to that, putting a flag in the ground. I had an office that was about the size of this desk, right? It was literally, it was one door, you walk in, it was one window, and it was a broom closet basically, but I set up shop in there, and that's the first year we did Summer League. And but since then I said, look, there's ways to do the events, there's ways to bring partnerships in, there's ways to leverage relationships, there's ways to expand the broadcast element and the digital media side of it. And that's really what we've done. We now have grown into our own building. We've got our own studio on site. We've had the fortunate luck of working with some of the best partners between the NBA, Adidas, all these different companies that we've had over the years, Toshiba. So we built properties around those partnerships and marketing campaigns. And then, the NBA Coaches Association is something that we're really excited about. We've built that brand up to where now it's actually a voice and a channel, and it matters. That membership is stronger than ever. So I think that's really, we're proud of that one. We've got these web shows now with the Hall Pass web shows, the Sports Business Classroom. I mean, we've done a variety of things. NBA Global Camp, which, we're on a hiatus right now, but we'll get that back again as well, where we're running the camps in Italy and Europe and Spain, hopefully. But What we've done is surrounded really good people that we've cultivated over the years. I mean, between like the team I have here, Sergio Millis and Max Miller and
Yeah.
Ryan Williams and Jay Kelfer and Jordan Cuellar and Gio Dyson and Tucker Corrigan back home and AJ Sabato and these guys who are with us all the time, and then we have an extensive network of people that we work project to project with. And, you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was kind of my philosophy when I talked to, even the young kids. It's like, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. And that's really what it comes down to. And for Hall Pass, it was like, look, we got a good group of people. We're smart. We like to work hard. We're not afraid of it. Let's get in and create some cool stuff. And at the same time, make money doing it. And, I always say, look, you could be doing a million things, but I'd rather be working in sports. And we're able to do that. I mean, who knows what the future holds? I'll be honest with you. It's a crapshoot right now. It's a guessing game for everybody. But all we know is like, hey, we're hired to work here at TVT. We're going to work as hard as we can, do the best work possible. We still have a couple clients that we're doing things for, but I mean, the truth is we're going to have to find new business and be as nimble and as aggressive as everybody out there. And whatever that leads us to, we'll do it.
That's great. And you speak about partnerships, synergy. So many summer league interns also work with Hall Pass. How valuable do you think it is to have those people you trust working in these important roles together, that synergy really come into fruition?
I think it's key. I mean, I think we see who's got it and who doesn't. I mean, it's pretty simple for us. You can only play favors for so long. You might give someone an opportunity to crack at the title, but they got to step in the ring, and at the end of the day, I'm not trying to be Mr. Cliche, but at the same time, if you don't get in the batter's box and take a swing, you're not going to get a hit. And that's just as simple as it is. It's like, look, everybody can talk it, but once you actually get in there, you know what? You might get brushed back, you might get knocked down, you pick yourself up, and that's how you learn from it and get better. And, that's what we try to do. And the network that we have, the VSL talent network of people who've come through our program, whether through interns or through the SBC program. I mean, we have literally over 170 people working in professional sports that have come through those programs. And I mean, that's a rarity nowadays, but that just also shows you the quality. So when we do, a new executive may get hired at a team who's part of our network, they may call us and say, hey, who do you have? Right? Who do you have? Like, we need this. And that person may be really good at that position. And then maybe they get an opportunity to advance their career. So you just don't know. But I mean, that network is so powerful now. I mean, we have people, as you know, you're excited to be a part of it, right? And hopefully for the rest of your life, because those are the type of relationships that we're building. I mean, they're in each other's weddings and they're hanging out and they're going on trips together and their families know each other now. I mean, that's what it's all about. That's truly what it's all about. And at the end of the day, they're talented people that we're fortunate to be a part of, our network.
Couldn't agree more. And the bond gets stronger every year. A couple more questions before we transition to the Q&A segment. You've given great advice to all these kids and young industry professionals once they're in there, but you must get kids asking you, reaching out all the time, how can they break into the sports industry? What do you tell them?
Look, I tell them, take every opportunity you can, whether it's, an internship, a volunteer position. I mean, but follow your passions. You have to go where you think you want to be. And I mean, right now it's all changing. I mean, whether it be the Gen Zs or the millennials, I mean, technology's become a huge player. Right? I mean, look at now, everything's virtual. So figure out, look, if that's the way I want to go, I've got to get myself in front of the right people, let them know how good I am. And, look, no one wants to self-promote, but sometimes you have to actually tell people who you are, what you're about. I'm the last guy who wants to self-promote, but look, we're fighting for survival now in today's economies and the way it is. That's why I'm doing these calls. I mean, not only are we excited about what we're a part of, but we've got to get our brand out there, our name out there, because we're proud of what we do. We have a good track record, and people know when we're on board, shit gets done, right? So, I mean, at the end of the day, and again, I think SBC is a really good avenue for people. I mean, the fact that you can actually be on the inside and be a part of that network is really becoming the most valuable tool that we have. There's no doubt about it. I mean, being part of our family and our network will pay dividend. I mean, not to tap ourselves on the back, but today it's like you make one phone call You make one connection to our guys, and guess what? I'm here, no problem, no
Yep.
questions asked. I
That
got
happens.
a game going on here right next. We're inside the arena, give you a little sneak peek, but why not? Very cool
Yeah,
opportunity.
I love it. And especially the sport business classroom, I cannot say enough. There really is nothing else like it now. I mean, people who work there, not only are they getting great experience, they're getting hired as either summer league interns or with teams. And it's so valuable, it's unmatched. Can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, I mean,
Last
I
question.
get
Yeah.
teams that hit me up all the time that say, "Hey, who do you have for me?" And now with VSL Talent, it's basically our own LinkedIn. We have our own LinkedIn of VSL. I can go right there, look at their profile, send them a link of who I think would be applicable for that job, and guess what? They're getting hired or getting at least getting an interview or some kind of a callback because they're part of our network.
It really is that simple, guys. And Al, I got one more question for you before we go to the Q&A. I love asking this to everyone. Get different questions, answers every time. What's one mistake you've made in your career and how did you learn from it?
Mistake I made in my career. I made several. Man, that's a tough one. I'd say probably when it first started out, like I wanted to take on the world, versus
Yeah.
just doing what was in front of me. Maybe we spent a little too much money trying to build a brand, or, just trying to bite off more than we could chew, right? And I guess that's a simple way to say it, but I have a ton of different things. But the reality was I wasn't great at certain things, or I didn't have the experience in certain areas, and trying to portray that you do without really having it, people see through that, right? And there's a
Yeah.
lot of people out there that they try to fake it before they make it, and I'm not saying I was one of those, because people know me. I'm not afraid of work, but at the same time, it's like really stay in your lane, stick to what your craft could be, and then sharpen it and fine tune it. But a lot of mistakes. If you don't make mistakes, you don't learn. The key
Yeah.
is learning from your mistakes.
Hmm.
Everybody's going to make them. Hey, I missed an assignment on defense. That guy got an open three. Guess what? Next time you're going to play him differently. I mean, it's as simple as that. And business is the same way.
Yeah, people make
One thing
mistakes. Learn.
I will say this about everybody, especially the younger people: you have an opportunity to network like no one else does. Social media, there is no barrier to entry. Before, I had to pick up the phone, or I had to go meet somebody to just try to get your foot in the door, to try to make a first impression. Now you have the ability, all the tools digitally. There's no reason at all that you can't make that effort to try to develop a relationship with somebody in a field that you have interest in, or build a relationship. There's nothing. It's as simple as, hey, look at this tweet, right? Share this, whatever. Like, that didn't
Yeah.
happen before. You had to pick up the phone, call 10 times before someone will call you back. And then if you called it back, hey, meet me here at 1 o'clock on Tuesday, you dropped everything you did, you met them there, you made a good first impression, and somebody said, hey, you're not my cup of tea, you're gone, you're on to the next one.
Yeah.
Or you got your foot in with this person and you say, look, I'll do whatever it takes to, run through that wall and show you that I'm the person. So, don't be shy. Don't be afraid of making that connection, because relationships and networking doesn't end. It's the rest of your life. And guess what? You never know who you're going to meet. I have
Yeah.
people that I say, hey, can you drive this person around? And it was Steve Kerr, and now Nick Urin is like Steve Kerr's right-hand guy. And, all these different things happen.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a million stories like that.
I couldn't agree more, especially the social media stuff, guys. Albert's on LinkedIn. You want to learn from him, go at him. Albert, I'm sorry if you get like 20 messages now, but
I do my best to respond, though. My staff helps me with that, but you'll get an authentic answer. I'm not going to give you some BS answer. I mean, it's genuine and authentic. It's like, I'll tell you if I can help, if I can, or somebody that I think may be able to assist.
yeah. And that was such valuable information from you. Want to go on to the Q&A? We have a couple really exciting questions, about a little less than 10. We'll try and get to them quickly. Here's the first one. It's very interesting now. For players who are already drafted and have a roster spot, what is the value of playing in Summer League? Jimmy Beck asks.
Well, the value of playing in summer league is you're not only seen by the NBA, you're seen by all the leagues around the world,
Mhm.
and that's invaluable because you can't get a collection of talent like that and showcase your wares anywhere else. And the beauty is this: you're running NBA sets, so you're learning the NBA vernacular. You're learning all the plays. So the next opportunity you get when they say, "Hey, let's run fist," ice here, whatever, you know exactly what they're talking about. So that's a big part of it. Plus, again, you develop relationships with coaches. Certain coaches are like, I don't want to touch that guy. Let's go a different route. And other coaches are like, I love that player. They may move to another team. Hey, we had that guy at Summer League. He was fantastic. Let's get him in a trade, right? That's the other thing. Guy might be sitting at the end of the bench. No. He'd be perfect for us. You package it in. So and not to mention the marketability of players, and that's an agent's job, is to go out there and get his guy a deal. So if you have a good summer league, you can parlay that into a successful opportunity somewhere else.
Yeah, and that can apply to interns. Really, anyone. Summer League is such a great hub for career advancement. Got another question from Alex Guo. Where do you see Summer League in 10 years? What improvements and technological advancements do you hope will have been made by then?
We're always using R&D for the game. No matter what, we want to make the game better. That's Warren and I's mantra from day one. How do we make the game better? Like I said, we're hoops ambassadors. Our job is to do whatever we can to improve the game. If that's on the floor, if that's coaching, if that's technology, we'll look at it. You look at the restricted zone that started at summer league, the referee replay, we've done that, the timeout clocks. I mean, we've tried so many different things. Some work, some don't. So I think that's good. I think where it's going to be in 10 years, I mean, if we can get the player data up to speed and real-time stats, I mean, that's all great. At the end of the day, I'm more of an old school guy. Like, I can walk in a gym and within 5 minutes I can tell you who can play. That's just the reality. And so I think from an enhancement standpoint, we'll do everything we can to improve the game on the floor, first and foremost. Secondly, technology will be big, whether it's for, COVID and health related improvements, whether it's for sponsor integration and coaching enhancements. Hey, we talked about a little coaching wrinkle today with some of the stuff that I came up with an idea here that I think would be really cool on how coaches around the world can kind of engage with Summer League in real time. So, I mean, that's part of it. I think from a player perspective, maybe there's an opportunity for a secondary league around it, whether it's a 3-on-3 tournament or, a TBT preliminary. I mean, there's different things that we can do where the summer league has become that hotbed of hoops for everybody involved. And maybe we add to it that way.
I love that. So many possibilities. Another question from Ian Scher. When preparing for the Summer League in the days leading up, what are you personally most concerned with?
Making the show as good as possible. Number one, that all of our players are safe and healthy and safe of our fans and our players and everybody there. We do all of these experiences, as I said before the earthquake. We've had active shooter training. We've had cybercrime training. We've had a lot of different things, a fire in our concession stands. What happens? How do we evacuate the building? So those are things that we work with all of our law enforcement, the FBI, NBA security. So those things are always on front of mind, without a doubt. Those are always really major concerns. And now you see why. I mean, look at what COVID has done. I mean, you can't lose sight of those things. And then secondly, the arena, I'm about me. I get excited and I get really juiced up when the arena is rocking. When it is packed and the energy is in the building. I mean, you've heard me, guys, we need energy. We need energy. I mean, whether it's the interns pumping them up because they set the tone, right? But, you hear me, hey, bring the juice. That's what we're doing all the time. And that's my concern. Like, I look at that just personally going, hey, how's the building going to be today? What's the game matchups? Hey, RJ Barrett's playing Zion, whatever it may be. It's like there's some really cool stuff there. And it's like I get juice and I'm worried about that. So that's, selling tickets, marketing, making sure ESPN's promoting the right stuff, working with NBA, all our NBA people on making sure they're getting all their obligations So there's a lot to it, as you know. I mean, if there was a speech bubble around my head as I walk into Summer League, it would be out of this world. I mean, there literally would be probably 200 above my head each day. So, you know, and you just try to handle your business. And the more you're prepared, the more I can lean on my staff, the better we are. And I love it. I mean, that's the one thing with missing it this year. I really miss the people. I really miss our Summer League family, and I miss the juice of the building.
Oh yeah, it's palpable. It'll be back eventually. Um, Another question from Crit. You've also worked with a lot of interns, like over 100. So what's one of the skills that you look for and value when you are looking to hire an intern?
You know what? Somebody who's honest, someone who's not afraid to work hard, someone who humble, right? But humble and hungry all the time. Those are two really good things that I look for. You know, obviously you want them to be talented, but we don't really know. It's hard for us to tell what people's talents are, as I said before, until they actually get into the experience. And then a lot of times we're amazed at what they can do. I mean, coming up through the AAU ranks of, years ago, when I ran George Carl's Friends of Hoop program, and then later on with all my Adidas Gauntlet work, you know, seeing young people and giving them the resources. And I used to say this 9 times out of 10, if you give them the resources, they'll amaze you at what they can do. And I think we gave away too many resources too easy, right? Everybody now, if you have a cell phone, a debit card, and a social media account, you're in.
Yeah.
And it was before you had to earn your way in, you know. And I think seeing people who've had to struggle a little bit, some people who've, you know, maybe we have the international kids, as you've seen. I mean, most of them come from nothing. We get them in there and they thrive. You know, they do really well. So, you know, it's a plethora. I mean, I want someone with a good personality, somebody who's honest, somebody who has a passion to compete. Not everybody has that, but when I say compete, I mean just in their own little ways. You know, if that means being spiritual and bringing that, and that's what you love to do, and you want to share that, you've seen that kind of come to life with kind of our kids. You've seen the design and the creativity. I mean, between, you know, I look at Kylie Jackson and what she can do
Yeah.
painting. I mean, it's
Beautiful.
unbelievable. Like, we didn't even know this, right? We don't know that about people. And then like at our Jordan Cuellar, I mean, he is we call him a graphics ninja, but I mean, he comes in and he just comes up with these unbelievable things. He and Gio both. But I mean, I think you look at people, what their skill set is, and you try to see through it and not put anybody. I can't stand labels. I think our country needs to get rid of labels. That's part of the problem we have right now. And don't put people in a box. Let them thrive. You got to let them thrive. Be creative. Be accountable. Nothing is for free. Be accountable, but be creative. And if we can find that balance with our interns, we've got a home run team.
That's so well said. And there are stigmas in really any major corporation or like this with interns. Oh, you got to know someone. And yeah, that's very important. But guys, there are stories. Albert, people have, you know, just reached out to him personally. He'll work with you. You know, this isn't just, oh, you got to know someone. So really take that into account.
Doesn't hurt.
Does not hurt. Definitely does not hurt.
Doesn't hurt, and building that network is great. But look, I mean, and again, you may not get it the first time around or the second time around or the third time around, but look, don't give up.
Exactly. I got a couple more questions. Oh, I like this one. This is from Danielle Parr. Why is Las Vegas a good city to host the Summer League? Why not Miami, Los Angeles, Houston, or other major cities?
For one, Las Vegas has unbelievable hotel properties, and it's very easy for us to do what we do with the arena situation. We have two arenas within one, basically. That's nice. There's direct flights from all the NBA cities, which you can't always get that in certain areas, which that's huge. I mean, for us, Las Vegas has become, and you know, we had talked about potentially moving it, but the city itself is a very good partner. You know, you don't know if you'll get that in other places. Not to say we would never leave Las Vegas. I mean, we love it. So, but for us, it really works well. But it's a good question. I mean, people ask us that all the time, and I think NBA cities are great. But here's the other thing: people like going to Las Vegas. I mean, even though it's warm, I mean, the reality is you have great hotels, you've got great shopping, you've got great restaurants, you've got like a lot of things that people enjoy. And it can be family, it can be nightlife, it can be shows, it can be golf, entertaining, whatever. It's really warm, don't get me wrong, but it's it's a great hub for us.
Yeah, and this may be naive of me. I really think the Summer League Las Vegas, there's a true brand connection there now. You think Vegas, you think Summer League, and that's not hard to build. It can, if people change it up, stuff can happen. I have two more questions before we let you off, Al.
The NBA's 31st city. That's the way we look at it.
I love that. You say sales is the key to success. How do you go about selling yourself in an honest way? Asked Jordan Edelstein.
Be genuine. I mean, be straight up with people. Don't bullshit. Just go right to it. But with a sense, you have to read people. And I'm not saying, hey, go in there with a game plan or an agenda, but go in there with confidence and go in there with preparation, and at the same time, listen. I don't think people listen enough. Like, you have to listen and hear what is it that they're looking for, or what are their challenges. Don't always have, don't come in thinking you know all the answers as well. Be humble and hungry, but sincere. And again, the genuine nature of people will come out if it's meant to be. I truly believe that. If it's forced and it's not really, a perfect relationship, you got to work on it. Okay, great. But over time, if it's a good relationship, you have the ability to be genuine. And I think that'll pay dividends, because here's the thing, business people have seen every type of, employee, every type of situation over the years. And if you're not, sincere and honest, that stuff, they'll smoke it out, before you know it.
Yeah, for me, when I look at someone, I want to see how they treat people who maybe can't help them that much. And that's such a huge indicator. You, Warren, Rhoda, like what you guys do for the Summer League interns is obviously so much more than they could help you in your careers. But that's how you really learn. You people are really out there just trying to help and make a great product.
Yeah, but you'd be amazed how much you all inspire us, energize us. I mean, Warren and I spend more time on helping people get jobs, helping people get in as an intern, talking with their family members about what's this kid all about. It's not just a layup deal. I know this person, hey, boom, they're in. It's let's get to know them. Will they fit us? I mean, we've had people that it's like, hey, they've gotten there and guess what? They're on the next flight home. I mean, it's not fit. So, and trust me, we swing and miss on certain people. It happens. I'm pretty good at it. I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm better than some, but
what's your batting rate versus Warren?
Better. Let's just say that. But again, look, he's an unbelievably kind human being. So, I mean, he gives opportunities sometimes where I'm like, we got to see more of an earned opportunity versus something that, but again, he's got that free spirit. And here's the other thing, he's earned the right to do it. There's no doubt. So, I mean, nobody's going to tell him, hey, you can't do this. I may, but he might say, hey, go F yourself too. Right. So it's like, look, we got to be honest here. But at the same time, it's, you never know what that secret sauce is, and people inspire us like in so many ways, and it's a grind, man. It's a grind. But like I said, July 1st was a very tough day for me this year. 17 years straight, I'm in Las Vegas putting this whole jigsaw puzzle together and enjoying every minute of it. I'm dead tired and I'm frustrated certain times, but I love every minute of it. And not having that in my life this year was really challenging. It was a difficult time on July 1st. And I had a lot of people reaching out to me, and then, SportsCenter shared the Zion clip last year, and you just watch that just look at that clip and the energy in the building that day. I mean, it was just like that. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and any great business, it starts at the top, and your relationship with Warren is so organic. You guys aren't afraid to have friction, but you're always working together, and that's just what's beautiful about it. Last question. I like this one from Ben Alon. What is one behind-the-scenes Summer League story you can share with the fans?
Oh, boy. Look, have you ever seen, you guys may be a little young, but the movie Rounders? Have you ever seen
I need to see that.
Rounders is a great movie, and there's it's Ed Norton and Matt Damon and John Malkovich, and they're in the underground poker scene, and they're always watching this guy Johnny Chan. Johnny Chan is the legendary World Series of Poker champion. Well, all of a sudden I'm doing like our second year of summer league, and I meet this guy in Las Vegas. I talk to him and he's like, well, hey, I represent Johnny Chan. And I'm like, Johnny Chan, the poker player? He's like, yeah. And he's like, hey, Johnny wants to come watch the games. I'm like, absolutely, bring him over.
Yeah.
Long story short, we end up doing a deal with his energy drink company that's called All In Energy Drink, and we're serving Johnny Chan's drink in the press room with Johnny Chan there, and like Jerry West and other guys walking in there like, is that Johnny Chan? Is that Johnny Chan? And I'm like, yeah, it's Johnny Chan. And so, I mean, but this just happened out of a relationship. And these were the like year two when we were doing anything to just survive. And so we cut a deal. He ended up giving us water, all in water and all in energy drink with Johnny Chan. It was one of his businesses, but people were just like shaking their head going, you guys are amazing. You'll pull off anything to make this happen. And I'm
Oh,
saying,
I love that.
we got to do it. So that's a good story. I mean, there's a number of those. We have a ton of those, but you'd be amazed at some of the stuff that we've, between the Mayweather and the LeBrons and different people that we've had to do to get there, and taking care of our players, and early on some of the parties that we've had were legendary. And that's the other thing too, is like the hospitality summer leagues become that place where everybody rub elbows, and you build quality relationships. You really do. I mean, that's one thing it allows you to do. And if you've never been there before, as some of the young students listening today, make your way out there. Find me, say hello, find Warren. Hey, I know what you guys have done. Boom, boom. It's pretty cool being able to, have people like that. I don't want to say they're just fans of good, successful stories. But at the same time, you get in the building, you never know who you're going to meet. You really don't.
You're always on the concourse, guys. I mean, Albert, you go to Summer League, you'll see him. He's not just hiding in the backstage. He's out there on the concourse everywhere.
Never. I love being in the gym. Like I said, the energy and the juice of the arena and the event is what it's all about. Anything you're doing. If you love your class, your favorite class at school, get in there with a passion, with a zest, take it on head on, and get charged up about it.
Couldn't agree more. Albert, thank you so much for coming on the show, taking your time just to be with us. This was such a great episode.
Cool. I'm glad to be here, and all the Syracuse faithful. Tune in to Boeheim's Army. We'll see. I don't know how they're doing right now, but follow the TBT. This is a great event, and we're excited to be here.
I'll have to check. Albert, thank you. Be well, man.
All right. Take care.